Which District 2 school is a best kept secret and why?
Probably Lipscomb. I think the principal there, Ms. Cheek, is doing really great work. They have a magnificent two-way dual language program that is a jewel for the district that I think we need to replicate elsewhere.
Why is voter turnout so low for DISD elections?
That is a great question. I think we've got a real apathy problem. It's about 2 to 4% of voters that show up for DISD elections, and I think a lot of that is a marketing issue. A lot of folks just feel like DISD is beyond help and that there's not much that can be done to improve it. I vehemently disagree with that. I think there's a lot of bright spots in DISD right now, and if we did a better job of marketing them and explaining to voters that there is a possibility of success, then more people would show up to vote for trustees that they think would help mobilize that success.
How many school board meetings have you attended, and what have you learned from them about being an effective board member?
Oh gosh, probably 25, 30 school board meetings. I've been going pretty consistently over the last 5 years since I've been back in Dallas. And some of them are fairly full of drama. I think a lot of the decisions and a lot of the posturing that happens from some school board members tends to be more focused on adult issues than on kid issues. So what I intend to do is to try to bring back a focus on kids. And I think to do that, we need some underlying trust and cooperation amongst the board members. Many of the conversations that happen at the board level betray some hostility between board members, and so I'm hoping to instill a sense of civility on the board. I've got good relationships with 6 out of the 8 current board members, and I'm working to build relationships with the other 2 by visiting schools in their district and by reaching out on a personal and social level. And so that's something I want to continue to focus on, but I think if I can build kind of underlying trust and respect amongst board members, then hopefully that'll set the tone for more effective board meetings.
What has been your greatest contribution to Dallas ISD so far?
Well, I've been serving on the board of Reading Partners North Texas for several years, and was most recently the chair-elect prior to throwing my hat into the ring for trustee. I think the impact that Reading Partners has had on the district has been significant. There's 18 literacy centers in the ISD schools right now, and that has gone up every year. We've brought in over 1,000 volunteer tutors into the schools to help our struggling readers, and I think I played a part in that. Of course, the team and the leadership of the organization is primarily responsible, but with any new organization in Dallas, that Reading Partners has only been here 3 or 4 years, and with any new organization, they need to surround themselves with folks that are passionate and willing volunteers that will put in the time and elbow grease to help the organization grow. And so I've been putting in quite a bit of time in Reading Partners in the last 5 years, and so I think I was an integral part of helping that organization reach the scale and helping the number of students that it is today.
If you were hired today to run DISD, what's the first thing you would do?
I'd sort of renew our focus on early childhood education. I think the board's made some progress in that area, and I commend the trustees for doing that, but I think we need to go a lot further. I think we need full day quality universal pre-K for all 3 and 4 year olds, and so I'd be reaching out to child care providers in our communities to expand facilities access, working on a teacher pipeline, and promote marketing to get more pre-Kers and parents with pre-Kers into the district. I think if we invest in those early childhood years, it saves us a lot of money on future interventions that are ineffective, and it positions kids for success. It's just not something that we're doing a good job of today. We know 85 to 90% of a kid's brain is formed by their 5th birthday, and yet we're only spending about 5% of our dollars there. I'd like to see that flipped on its head.
What will happen to DISD if you aren't elected?
That's a good question. I think District 2 has been in a unique position for a long time, in the sense that it's had a strong reform-oriented leader. One could argue that it's not just any other trustee spot. Mike Morath and Jack Lowe were both strong leaders of the board, and they sort of anchored the movement towards progress. So I think having a strong kind of reform-oriented voice in this particular seat is really important. And I think I'm the reform-oriented candidate. I think I've illustrated that through a passion and commitment to public education over 15 years. And I think if I'm not in that seat, then the sort of anchor leader for reform on the board would be absent. And I worry that would pump the brakes on progress. We've made a lot of progress in the last 4 or 5 years, and I'd like to see that momentum continue. And I think I'm well positioned to help lead that progress. And if I'm not elected, which I hope isn't the case, but if I'm not elected, I think we'd see some pumping of the brakes.